All right, we'll open up our commissioner meeting for March the 3rd. Everybody please stand for the pledge. Josh, would you lead us, sir?
Sure. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, looks like we have a busy schedule today. Thank you all for coming. We'll ask for a motion for minutes from our last meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Claims.
Make a motion, we approve the claims as written.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Health Department.
We have nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. I don't see anybody from Sheriff's Department. Highway Department.
The only thing that I have, the Jesse Street situation at this time. We've talked to consultants about the estimate for the road for Jesse Street. And then Mr. Wayman, he said he will have somebody come up from Woodlands surveying to do that the first week of April. So
Okay.
that's kind of where we're at right now. That's all I really know.
Anything else on anything, Dale?
That's all that I have.
All right. Spencer County Ambulance.
Yes, I
Jane?
was wanting to check, we did not have a commissioners meeting before we were required to file a grant for the MHI, that's Mobile Integrated Health. I went ahead and filed it, so I'm asking for permission today. I got permission from the council, but you guys didn't meet that day, so I could not get it from you guys, and it just come out the day before, so there's like a 12-day period in there I had, so. I went ahead and filed it for $33,800, and there is no match to that. That is just supporting our program going into the second year. And maybe looking at some OB management running that program there, adding that to it. So, and then also.
Jane, do you want us to go ahead and have a motion on that, so you have that?
If you, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve
We
your
have a
grants.
motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
There is another grant available for us to bid for rural EMS. That grant, it has no match either. I have been in contact with Region 15. They will write the grant for us and try to get it, but that grant will be probably about $800,000 worth of equipment. So I'm just asking permission to file for that one.
I'll make that motion.
I don't think any of us can make that motion quick enough.
I'll
I'll ask for a
second.
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 All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Thank you very much, Jane.
Okay, and then last week I made my rounds through some of the county buildings, upgrading and putting the life back choking devices into the county highway has one, and you guys have one downstairs. Melissa's making sure everybody in the courthouse gets trained on it, but we've had some positive results with those. So they are in here now, and that's part of the MIH program that we ran in 2025. And then also there was some medication that was expired that we got out here also. So everything should be updated with all your safety equipment that you have out to the public. And then also, the Rockport Ambulance Station is 30 years old, and it is needing windows. We've got quotes for windows, and I was just wanting to get permission to go ahead and get that done for them.
All right. I'll ask for a motion for Jane to go ahead and get the windows replaced at Rockport.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
What would we use that out of?
Well, it depends on how much it is. So.
Okay, so we may have to go to council to get that.
I would say at least contingent upon their funding in case it is over than what we have.
Okay, because I doubt we have that in the budget for there.
Right now, it's looking like it's $8,000 unless.
Okay.
I'll have to look.
But I think make arrangements to be on the council meeting to where we can get it approved if need be.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you. Cy-Ho.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
My name is Olivia Ship. I'm your Employee Benefits Account Manager with Shepherd Insurance. And before Cy-Ho speaks, and then we also have Drew Scripps with us today, I wanted to take this opportunity standing in front of you to see if you would be open, as the commissioners, to allow Shepherd Insurance the opportunity to get the dental insurance business back. So I wanted to present that question to you today.
I'm comfortable leaving it locally. We made that decision last year. There was no change to the policy, no change to the employees. You know, I'm fine with the local company having it. But that's just,
I'm fine with who we currently have with our dental insurance also.
That's
But I am thankful that you are here to present on behalf of Cy-Ho and our other policies.
Yes, we are. We're here for the medical, the vision, and then also your pharmacy benefits for True Scripts. So I'm going to let those ladies speak, but thank you for the consideration.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. You all know me. I'm Carolyn Cy-Ho. I am reporting on your second quarter, on how your plan is running through your second quarter. And I have, it's kind of what I did last quarter in November. I think I was here sometime middle of November. And did an executive summary here that refers to the reporting package that I've presented. And so in the executive summary, you can see that I've listed the page numbers that reference the reports that I'm detailing here. So I'll be as brief as I can. I won't read this verbatim, but I will just tell you on your enrollment, you can see that we're up just a little bit on the coverage for your employees, which we refer to as subscribers, and the total members on the plan as all the employees independent. So you can see we're up about 4.17% on your total subscribers, so that's the employees, and almost 3% on the overall members when we compare that to this same time last year. So wanted to just point that out a little bit. Also, as far as how the health plan costs are running, so that's everything. That's all the claims, the pharmacy, the reinsurance costs, the administration fee, all of those combined costs right now are running at $756 per member per month. And when we compare that to last year, you were at this same time last year at $665 per member per month. So there's about a 13.69% increase in the overall health plan cost. I will get into a little bit of the top membership, and I won't, top 10 claimants. I won't go into a lot of detail of that. But you can see as far as the claims that we're paying, 56% of those claims are being paid for employees, 32% are being paid for spouses, and dependents represent 12% of your paid claims cost. When we break that out by categories, the surgery claims represent 28% of the paid claims. Your pharmacy is your number 2 cost at 27%, and then you have had an uptick in inpatient hospital services at 19%. We do show that we have some high-cost claimants, and about 8 members on the plan are actually representing about 41% of your paid claims through, and that should not say October, excuse me, January. And then when we hit down on the top 10 claimants, we actually, the first couple, and this is I think what True Scripts is going to dig into for you guys on the pharmacy side, a couple of high cost medications, and they're going to tell you all the avenues that they're looking at to save dollars on those medications. And then I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but you can see several of these episodes, especially when you get to the second page, the cases are completed. So we shouldn't see much more expenditures on these members because whatever service they had going on, that's done. Right. So that's very good news
so
to
report.
report.
Even out over the next
yes, we're hoping we're at the 6-month point, and right now when we look at the reinsurance and what they project, so you know every year they go through underwriting, so they projected at this point, at the 6-month point, I'm going to just average because I actually have the numbers here if you need to see them, but it's a little over 600,000 that they projected, and right now you're around 800,000. So on the reinsurance report, you're running at 129% of expected claims. So a little hot. So I think hopefully that'll trickle down as we get closer to your renewal. But I think it's very important that you have an understanding of where we're at as we go into the renewal process. Very good news as far as your network savings analysis. Your actual physician network savings is at 60%, and your facility savings for these networks are at 56%. You can see here in the next bullet point, you've had 17 inpatient admissions as we compare to the prior year at 10 inpatient admissions. But honestly, for that additional 7, the cost overall is much less than where you were last year for inpatient admissions. You can see where most of the care is going for those inpatient admissions. Both Deaconess, Perry County, Memorial, Deaconess Women's, Ascension, and Owensboro Regional are where those services have occurred. On your outpatient services, most all the care is going through Deaconess facilities, which would include the Deaconess Rio Clinic. Office visits, so far through the 6 months, you've had 924 actual office visits, averaging about $76 per visit. When we compare that to last year, you had 787 visits, but the average cost was at $90. So again, that's a good average to go down. And then the last page that I'm going to report on is just your emergency room visits. So far through 6 months, you've had 27 ER visits, and then last year you had 26. So we're very close to the same as far as the trend goes. And then on preventative care visits, we actually have paid a little bit more on preventative health care visits for $61,827. When we compare that to the same time last year, you had paid for primary care visits, or preventative health visits, $44,555. Most of those preventative health visits were actually by employees and male employees. So that is my report. I will turn it over to TrueScript so they can give you a report on the pharmacy side of the health benefits. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name's Whitney. I'm with TrueScripts. Kim is also here with me. I have extra so y'all can have one if you want. Very extensive report here, but I'm going to just do the highlights. Do you want one for the gentleman that's missing? There's no. Oh, I thought you said somebody got it. Okay, just kidding. All right. So really, I just wanted to report on the top 2 medications that we've seen. You have an Otezla and a Wakefix. That's hitting the plan, anti-inflammatory and a seizure medication, so I don't foresee them falling off the plan. For the Otezla, it did have patient assistance through the manufacturer in 2024. In 2025, they got rid of it, and so the cost savings went out the door there for you guys. There's a copay card, but it doesn't touch getting the medication for free. So you did see a jump in that one. The member who's taking the Wakefix does qualify for the manufacturer's patient assistance program. So that's the most cost-effective savings there as well. Or for that one, the Otezla is processing through the most net cost pharmacy. So really, there's nothing we can do about those 2 right now. Like I said, I don't foresee them falling off the plan at this time. Your per member per month plan paid is still under TrueScript's book of business. It did increase from 2024, but again, those were due to that Otezla, the patient assistance falling off. You did have another specialty med that was hitting the plan in 24 that fell off, so there were some cost savings there. Your members are filling about 87% generics, so that's good. We like to see that. Unfortunately, your brand spend is high. You'll see the anti-diabetic medications in this report, and this slices it every way you want to look at it. In here, it will tell you on one of the back pages the different therapeutic, and those are all your, not preventative meds, but like the anti-diabetic. They're trying to control their disease state. So we want them to take them. Unfortunately, they're higher costs. But with that comes the rebates, and so you will see on that page as well, it's a savings that you jumped from $75,000 in rebates in 2024 to almost $9,000 for 2025. So with the brand spend increasing, you also get more money back. We did move from Canna RX, that's still in place, but your members do have the option to do TrueScripts Integrated International. So we will be looking at that. That happened on January 1st, and so we will watch these claims coming through and try to transition members who are wanting to, so that will add some additional savings. There's a lot in this report, so feel free to take a look at it, and then if you have questions, you can certainly get with us.
Thank you.
Any questions right now?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
No, you have questions? Yeah, does anybody have any questions that we can?
That's a lot of information that we needed to capture in a short period of time, so.
Yes, well, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and then I can pull in SIHO and TrueScripts as needed.
And if you ever want a special meeting for us to come and talk, we're happy to do special.
Yeah, we would be more than.
We know you have a full agenda every month, but I just wanted to make sure we got in front of you and let you know how things were going.
No, I appreciate the
Provide local numbers
information.
as we get them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, I've got bid opening for janitorial service.
Sheila Roberts.
Who does, oh, am I missing? No, who does not appear to have submitted a true bid, instead just submitted a list of key skills, experience, and education with no price points. So,
What would the procedure be to deny that
yeah,
opening and extend again?
yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we deny the opening, and we put another extension. What do you guys, do you want to go out to the first?
Can you
Meeting
get
of
in
April?
contact with her? Is there contact information in there?
Phone number on there,
Yeah, I have the number.
Okay.
Do you want to extend it to March 20th, or can we go that fast, Josh, or?
yeah, I mean, as a service,
Okay.
that's,
And then just tell her what she needs to put on there.
So what if we made a different outlook, because we're kind of having a hard time getting something
Most-
as
yeah,
a
most of
backup
the-
plan. I know that we have had in the past, assistant maintenance person or assistant building inspector. What if we looked at it as the way the RFP is reading, that you are a business who handles your own liability insurance, and then we're paying you as a service. Is there a different way that we could go about doing this? Because our current employee who handles our cleaning still needs to have a backup system, right, Melissa?
On call, basically, you're on call.
yeah, I mean, from a legal perspective on this kind of thing, you have a lot of flexibility.
So basically, we could just ask for on call.
Or like what about a part-time that as needed,
A
we've
PRN?
budgeted for this, then that way it's a person that is familiar with the space. We're paying them, they're covered under our liability insurance at a paid rate as Jim was saying, on-call person.
Yeah.
How do we do that? Because I don't know that we're going to achieve what we're trying to with a service in our area.
Well, let's get this taken care of right here, and then before budget next August, let's come up with a better plan for our on-call stuff, as far as with our maintenance and also with this.
So we're going to go with the motion of rebidding.
We have a motion,
Yeah, my motion was to deny this bid, and then provide an extension. You wanna go to the first meeting of April?
I can do that. Let's do that. I think that's the 7th, isn't it?
April 7th. Yeah, so my motion is to deny this bid, and extend the, bid solicitation to April 7th.
All right, we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I just think you're kicking the can down the road in regards to, it still limits our, there isn't a coverage for our, in case the person isn't here to do the job. So by making another motion to re-advertise what we've been doing, I mean, that's.
I mean, I think
But we
could
don't
could
have anybody now.
simultaneously.
So we're trying to
We
get
don't.
somebody. So with this right here, or actually, we could just accept this bid.
I don't wanna accept it without a price on it.
There you go. But we'll have to use our price, what we pay her an hour will have to be it'll have to come from our payroll schedule, not hers.
Is this the only person that's responded to the RFP?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with her not having anything on there, I think that tells that we're gonna have to ask her if she is willing to be an employee, a part-time employee, or if she is just working as a person that just comes in as needed. Her own insurance and all that.
Let's do this. I'm gonna amend my motion to just deny the bid, as it was presented, and then we can have the secondary conversation after the fact.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
So, what if we table this until March 20th? That way we could get our ducks in a row of,
Get something together.
yeah, nothing spur of the moment right now. We can kind of think on it a little bit before we act. So
I have no
I'll make a
problem.
motion that we table the, any extension on the RFP for the emergency janitorial
Okay, we
service.
have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Anything else on that? All right, the quote for Wave Plus. I think EMA was handling that.
Yes, so we have a quote for, the batteries in the entire system for $2740.50, but we have to approve the quote before we can, it's almost considered like a contract.
I'll make a motion, we approve the quote for Secure Tech.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. Appointment.
That is the appointment request for Lincoln Heritage Public Library.
I'll make a motion that we approve Jill Lasher at the request of the Lincoln Heritage Public Library Board. They would like her reappointed.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I will second that motion.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
And that ends 2030, so that won't be a while before that comes up again.
Okay.
You won't be new anymore.
Still be new. I'll be newer than both of you.
All right, we have the Lockmuller Group.
Thank you. My name is Jason Dupont. I'm the project manager for the Miss Days Corridor project with the consultant team. They provide an update of where the project stands currently, what our progress is, and where we're going, what's going on currently. So we completed the Tier 1 overall corridor assessment, looking at the 12 county area from State Road 66, which is the bridge here, to connect to I-69. Through that process, identified a central corridor that essentially through Du Bois County, Martin County, Davies County, following the 231 corridor, the 231 highway in general, to connect to I-69. That was determined in 2023 with a record of decision from Federal Highway approving a 2,000-foot wide study area. So Some key things that we identified there, obviously, we did make the decision to move forward with the build alternative and advance that corridor. That 2,000-foot study area that was defined, and then such a section, separating the corridor into sections of independent utility for further study. That's what we're doing now. There were 5 of those. There are no improvements planned on the portion in Spencer County with the 4 lane. Then the next section to the north will be from I-64 to Hayesville, essentially State Road 56, and then from State Road 56 in Hayesville to just south of Lagodi, and then there's a small section through and around Lagodi to evaluate, and then from just north of Lagodi near Boggs Lake to I-69 near Crane. So those are the sections, and we are currently studying the Du Bois County section, which is section 2, at the detailed level. So that progress, if you've been following at all, has been through a couple of different public outreach points over the last year and a half. We did refine the purpose and need, essentially to add some specific goals in looking at that section in Du Bois County. We've developed preliminary alternatives. There were a dozen different preliminary alternatives that were evaluated, primarily looking at access points within Du Bois County, where we would connect, how that would be done. We did look at 3 different alignments within that 2,000-foot study area, and so that's still continuing to be refined. The screening process that was published last fall narrowed that down to essentially 2 primary alternatives, and that's what we are working on now to further refine, looking largely at how those access connections will be made through Du Bois County. So as we refine, we've been talking with obviously local officials, we've been talking with emergency services, county engineers, city engineers, to look at those access plans, how they conform to their local planning. Obviously, we'll make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on. You know that this is essentially north of you. A few key things that we are looking at in decision-wise, we did recommend expressway or 4-lane divided facility type, essentially to match what's in Spencer County here for that section. So that's what we are moving forward with. And from an access perspective, we haven't made any final decisions, but as we're narrowing things down, we have made a few adjustments in there, particularly on the south end. We've got a connection currently at the county line, from the Spencer and Du Bois County line, County Road 1200 South for Du Bois County. But we are looking to retain that. We're looking at County Road 1100 South, which is a mile north of there, 1000 South, which is another mile north, and then 900 South, another mile north, and then 231, which are all about a mile spacing, actually a little bit less by the time you get to US 231. And looking at kind of balancing those access points, some key things that we are looking at is actually limiting those to the county line, County Road 1000, and then at US 231, which we believe provides a balance of connectivity for that region, as well as then minimizing the conflict points, the intersection points from a density standpoint to improve safety and efficiency of the corridor overall. So that's valuation that we are looking forward, carrying forward here as we refine those alternatives to make our final preferred recommendation. The other couple of key things, really looking at the connections, largely we're looking at 2 configurations, conventional reduced conflict intersection, J-turns, median U-turns, as a reference to what you have in Christie and Dale. So that's what's being planned at most of the county facilities. We are looking at the primary state facilities, State Road 164, State Road 64, Huntingburg, and 162, and 231, where we connect the north side of Jasper. Quadrant Road intersection that would include reduced conflict on the main line, but it would provide for such a quadrant road and a grade separation with it. So those have been incorporated into the evaluation that we're working on right now as we continue to develop that design to pin down right away for the preferred recommendation. So some key elements of those intersection types, really, they are the best configurations and the safest. NDOT's data, both from Spencer County as well as across the state, shows those things to be highly effective at reducing overall crashes, about 85% reduction in fatal and serious injury crashes, and 68% overall reduction in crashes compared to prior conditions. So maneuverability through those for large trucks, tractor trailer vehicles has been planned for, so that's incorporated into it. So key benefits that we're evaluating, obviously, is part of what we're pinning down right now, though, in comparing those alternatives at a fine point. About 300 truck hours a day are being saved within the 12-county study area that we were looking at. 600 auto hours, so commuter trips for employees. So, and then that adds up to over 300,000 total hours in a year, yearly savings. That's an aggregate net savings. Does take into account those median U-turns, the J-turn configurations for those S lines and stuff that would be rerouted. So that's everything in the model being accumulated with where there are some trip increases. There are a much lower volume of those that would be impacted with some increased time compared to the high volume of reduction that aggregates to that 300,000 savings in a year. Maybe a specific interest for you all, 14.5-minute overall time savings through Du Bois County. So if you are heading north to points north of Du Bois County to Crane or to Bloomington, such as from Dale, I-64 to Hayesville, during a typical average conditions, we're looking at a 30-minute trip in the model time. Mid-state score will provide that in 23 minutes. If you're looking at congested time through Du Bois County, you're adding another 7.5 minutes, so that's 15 minutes, nearly 14.5 minutes of travel time savings is what's identified there. So if you're doing that for work and you're commuting back and forth, you're looking at 2.5 hours a week almost of time savings that you're going to see. So, and obviously that's generating a lot of those truck hour savings as well. So, another big thing really is the amount of trucks that we're getting off of the existing highway and putting onto the Mid-States corridor. It's about 1,700 a day through Du Bois County. That's about 88% of the total trucks that are being moved. So that'll be a significant change and improvement for actually travel through Jasper as well if you're going there, going downtown to shop. So, and take a lot of wear and tear off that existing facility, which is, moving into the improved facility that would be higher level design, speed, et cetera. And with that, I'm going to let Diane go to the LPN and kind of talk about some of the additional activities that are going on.
So we have Lockmiller under contract. They're doing the environmental studies for the Tier 2 documents. Late last year, we also hired HNTB, another consultant, and they are TPA, which is Technical Procurement Advisor, which means they're gathering all the procurement documents and helping us get a contractor on board. That they will help determine the design and construction delivery method. We have determined that contract 1, which is 162 to 231, will be a progressive design build procurement model. This does help us accelerate to project construction start and see some efficiencies with hiring the contractor earlier during NEPA phase and getting their input early. We have, through the HNTB contract, determined that this section 2 would be broken out into 4 construction contracts. We're focusing on contract 1 right now, procuring it in 2026, and then we would intend to procure 1 construction contract over the next 3 years. So contract 2 in 27, contract 3 in 28, and contract 4 in 29. We have also hired Aegis as our right-of-way consultant. So we will work through Federal Highway to ensure that we are following the federal guidelines on acquiring right-of-way. We can do that before the environmental is complete at the time that we have determined a preferred alternative, which is later this fall. And then we would start buying that right-of-way acquisition process for contract 1 specifically. That's where we would target first. And we'll utilize state dollars to ensure that we're following that federal process, but that will keep us eligible for federal reimbursement later once NEPA is complete. So some of the next steps that you'll see is a selection for the contractor for contract 1 in midsummer of this year. This fall, we'll announce the preferred alternative. In the draft environmental document, we will hold a public hearing at that time where stakeholders can come and actually have a minute to talk in front of us. And at that time, following the 30-day public comment period on the draft environmental document, we will begin the purchase of the right-of-way. In summer of 2027, we will have the final environmental document approved by Federal Highway, which will initiate construction of contract 1 in fall of 2027. You guys have any questions about Mid-States Corridor right now?
No.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sounds like it's progressing.
Do we need any other approval? I know that we were sent.
Yeah, the RDA
Yes.
would like to give you a brief update, and we'll start. I'm Mark Schrader, I'm chair of the RDA. Ken Moser is vice chair, Sue Olson is treasurer, and Jill Kaiser really has been involved from the RDA from the onset. Those of us on the board, we're here since you all appointed us, along with the other governmental members. So we're gonna have Bill give you a bit of an update, kind of where the RDA is, because we are coming to a checkpoint from the RDA's perspective. And Bill talk more about that.
We're gonna have all our RDA meetings down here at Beaver Creek Station. This is great. Thank you for having us.
I like your very conservative traveling box.
Now, your banking process.
I don't know if you can have it.
You might have found it.
So I'm just handing you right now, just to get you updated, these are the documents from the RDA for last year. So you have a set of all the minutes, the pieces that, some of the financial statements, the pieces, so you can just look at that and understand if you want to look at that. What we have a website. The website is not functioning properly right now, so we've been handing out these packets. This is a matter of information, what's happening the last year. I also wanted to hand you also there are a number of filings as RDAs have. Part of the documents for last year in there. One thing that was not in your file is the 2025 annual report. This is a report that's required to be filed with the state of Indiana. And
Here.
the 2024 is in your piece of it. So this got filed this year. Also what's in your packet is the audit report. Every year as an RDA, we're obligated to report to the State Board of Accounts. We have LWG, which is the approved auditor, to file, and so that's in your packet also along with this piece. So, so you just have the information about what's been going on with the RDA as an entity and those pieces. That I also wanted to hand to you. A little summary, which is just a history summary of the organization. I know we don't get a chance to. There's two. I speak name.
Thank you.
If I could just run through this. So just to run back in time real quickly, the RDA was formed in 2017, and that happened by the approval of the county council in Spencer County, the DuBois County Council, the City of Huntingburg, and the City of Jasper's Council. There was a board appointed in 2018, initial meeting happening in May 11th, 2018. The members are on the second page. It's a 5-member board. That's what's required under the Indiana statute. Mark Schrader, Ken Moser Jr., David Drake, Phil Schmidt, Scott Blasey, as Mark mentioned. Mr. Moser and Ms. Elsman are both here along with Mark. And then the next page, the audit. Every year that audit gets filed. Technically, the RDA is doing, historically done 3 things. One, spent money to reimburse the cost of the Tier 1 study. The Tier 2 study was actually picked up by NDOT as being, so there's no additional cost now. That the expense of the current ongoing study. And then there are fees and expenses for operating the RDA, which occurs now. So that's the report, and then you'll see at the bottom part of that, the cash on hand the RDA has now is approximately $123,000. What's of current importance for the commissioners and for the county council, the Spencer County Council, is that when you signed on to become a member of the RDA, there's this minimum 8-year period of time where you are a member. After that 8-year period of time, the statute does provide for the right to exit the RDA. You can decide, hey, I no longer want to be a member of the RDA, or you can continue to be a member of the RDA. There's a time period in the statute which says, a certain time you should give notice if you want to get within a period of time get that in or out. In fact, that time period has passed. Recently, we then contacted the Attorney General of the state's office to understand, what happens if nobody does anything. If we just continue on, there's no affirmation of continuing membership or no termination of membership. The verbal report we have now from the Attorney General's office is that the RDA continues, that there's an 8-year minimum. We think the preference would be that the members would make a statement whether they want to continue or not continue with the piece of it. If not, you could actually, and this would be a county council piece. The way the authority runs is that the county council joins in, the commissioners appoint the members. So this body actually appointed the members to the RDA, the board members, but the county council joined in. So I just wanted to show that we have asked for written memorialization of the opinion of the Attorney General's office. We haven't received that yet. As soon as we get that, we'll pass that on to your legal counsel so that Splitter can look at that and advise you accordingly. We've reported the same way to the city of Huntingburg, the city of Jasper, and Du Bois County about the same question. It's all under consideration with them about next steps and how this piece is done. So we did bring along a resolution for your consideration.
That was nice of you.
So
I'm curious what the other municipalities, what indication you got from them on your crystal ball.
It's a mixed bag. I'd say, about what they're thinking about. Part of the question really is to what extent, what is the RDA going to continue to do? And we can talk a little bit about that question too, because initially what the RDA was formed to do was to raise the money, or assist in the raising of the money for the cost of the Tier 1 study. That approximately $7 million was raised. That money was spent on the Tier 1 study. And there's been some minor funds that have been spent annually since that time in maintaining as a participating agency what the RDA has done. There is ongoing administrative pieces that are going on, and we can talk a little bit about what the RDA is doing, but the RDA has developed this working relationship as a participating agency with Lockmuir and with NDOT. It is also, was previously the fiscal agent. We believe it could continue to be the fiscal agent because there is a matching part of the dollars that needs to be raised that the RDA is discussing with businesses for the monies that for the cost of construction that will occur starting in 27. So the RDA was completed its primary role in raising the money in order to get the Tier 1 study done. We wouldn't be where we are now if that Tier 1 study wasn't done, and quite frankly, at that point, the cost of the Tier 1 study was not part of the NDOT budget. So this was a very unique first-time opportunity that an RDA actually raised money for a project, to pay for the cost of that piece. It was a very innovative way to get NDOT to look again at this roadway. And I think the proof in the pudding is that when the Tier 1 study was completed, which ranged from all of do nothing to building a new terrain roadway, that Tier 1 study, which was then subsequently approved by the Federal Highway, said you need to build a new roadway. So it did what it was to solve the problem. So now we're in the second part of that is where is that roadway going to be built? All the pieces, as we get to the record of the decision, then which people a lot more can speak a lot better than me, we'll be ready to start. In funding that piece of that, there is some local contribution that the RDA is working on in order to make certain that we can meet the obligations and obtain the funding for the construction of the road.
Are there any financial implications if we agree to extend our participation, but one of these other municipalities doesn't? Or,
There's been no request for money.
okay,
And there's never been a request for money from Spencer County to this point. And that doesn't imply any request for money. And so I'd say at this time, there is no expectation for the request of money. In fact, very explicitly in the meetings with the city of Jasper, city of Huntington, and DuBois County, what we've said is that we're not coming to ask for money in connection with the renewal of the membership or the extension of their participating entities as part of the RDA. So I'd say Mac, no. The simple answer is.
I want to make sure that I'm just going to sum up maybe what I heard you
Yes,
speak.
please do, Heather, that's good.
In your Tier 1 study, those funds were raised privately to complete the study? It was
Half
not-
privately, say 3.5 million from the public
Correct.
agency and about 3.8 million from private. So about $300,000-ish was spent on, after the Tier 1 was done, spent on continuing some operational costs. So I think, if I'd say this right, $1.5 million came from DuBois County's edit dollars.
Half of it came from DuBois, so whatever that would be, yeah.
And then the other
1.75 came from DuBois County.
1.75. So half from the county and the other half from the city of Jasper and the city of Huntington. Not
But
proportionately, yeah.
other funds were achieved through private.
And then the other 3.8 million
Funding.
was funding from private companies. That's exactly right.
Do the board members serve in perpetuity also, or are they?
No, they serve a 4-year membership, and so this body of commissioners did reappoint the same body 3 years ago. I don't know exactly the date, but it's coming. So it'll expire.
3.5 years ago, yeah.
So at some point in 2026, they would have to be reappointed too, so will have to come back. So it's an 8-year minimum to join the RDA. And then there are 4-year terms for the 5 board members, which they serve their 4, reappointed for another 4. So the two kind of time issues are, one, to reestablish membership or re-agree to membership in the RDA, and then the second is at some point to come back and we'll ask.
So are those term limits, could the current be unable to continue, is what you're saying, or they could?
Those members will have to be reappointed.
But they could be, you could serve for 12 years.
Yes, no, right, there's no term limits, right, but it's a 4-year term, so every 4 years the members have to get reappointed, that's correct.
So with this resolution, has there any language changed from the previous resolution or?
No. Yeah, so I mean, and then to be clear politically or operationally, this RDA has a single project focus, which is the Mid-States Corridor. There are in fact a dozen other RDAs in the state which take on all kinds of economic development and programmatic pieces that are, whether it's down in the Albany southeastern part of the state or the northern part of the state or the central part of the state, or in Vanderbilt County, there's RDAs. So those have much larger staffs, budgets, projects. This is a there's no employees, it is singularly focused on the Mid-States Corridor. And I would say that to your question, Heather, to the extent that that expanded, the board would have to approve, and the board generally, the expectation is that, hey, they would have to come back and talk to the member agencies about what are the projects or things they would take on, because this really has been a very narrowly focused and singularly focused RDA.
You might also want to mention that your initial commitment was for 8 years. With this renewal, you can vote to withdraw. You're not locking in for another 8 years into the RDA. So, our focus now, as Bill said, as the RDA is really, it had been, initially it was not kind of, initially it was, our focus was just trying to get NDOT to listen to us. You saw as the first Tier 1 study went through, you could kind of see some of the naysayers inside NDOT. realizing there is a need for this. Because and so, you know, now on the Tier 2 study, as Bill said, half of the money, 3.5 came from the governmental entities, 3.8 came from the private sector, and there were just under 50 companies, business people who contributed toward that, so clearly they thought there was a need. If you've seen any of the press, you know, there's a lot of opposition. No, I should rephrase that. There is a relatively small group of opposition who are negatively impacted by the road. They're inside the corridor who made a lot of noise. But, you know, and many of those private sector donations, because they could have chosen to remain anonymous. You know, any contribution to a governmental entity in Indiana, the contributor can choose to remain anonymous, mainly because they didn't want to fight the opposition. They'd rather have them just beat us who are on the RDA board up at our quarterly meetings. But, you know, at this point, you know, as you heard from Diana and from Jason, you know, this project is geared to go. Now, there's political hurdles that are going to have to be climbed on this, but it looks very positive for this next section. We initially, NDOT's goal was to kind of have a 80% federal money, 20% state and local money, and a 50-50 mechanism. We've told them we can't get there because, quite honestly, our governmental members, I'm sure just like you all, right now is not a good time to be thinking or asking them for money. So we've told them we're not coming back to you to ask for any money. We've never asked you as Spencer County for money. We have no intention of doing that. That extra, we were oversubscribed on that private sector the last time. That extra $300,000 allowed us really to continue to operate because RDA does have to do certain things and certain things cost money for that. But that vehicle is critical to getting private sector money into the mix. And, you know, NDOT, I think, has and continues to look at this as a model for the future. So we do anticipate, as we move now to the Tier 2, I should back up to the Tier 1, we paid $6.75 million to NDOT. That study cost more than that. I would guess that NDOT had a couple of million in that, so my guess would be that Tier 1 study cost $10 million. When it came time for the Tier 2, NDOT said, no, we'll take it from here. And that Tier 2 study has cost $15 million, so there's $25 million going to be in the study for the whole piece, and then for the Du Bois County section for the Tier 2. The other comment that I would make is that I think going into this, we all thought 8 years would be enough time for us to get from the start to where ground's being broken. COVID slid into that mix. And so we're gonna need a couple more years to get to where the ground's broken. And again, the RDA's value at this point is we do have a very good relationship with NDOT and with Lockmiller. So for the local governmental members, yourself included, you know, we can kind of help get messages to them. That obviously means more to the Du Bois County local members. But if you all have certain questions or certain things, all you gotta do is reach out to Ken, and he'll make sure that as the RDA, we're getting your questions answered. You know, at this point, as Bill said, our goal as the RDA is really to kind of get to the finish line, and that finish line is, you know, when that record of decision is issued by Federal Highway, because that's what makes it eligible for federal funds, and when that ground is broken, which according to the current schedule would be shortly after you know, that record decision would come summer of 2027. And then at that point, if there is a need for the RDA to continue, it would really be fiscal agent. In terms of, we do expect the local business sector, private sector, is going to contribute toward that section of Du Bois County Highway. Perhaps not at the level that we thought initially, because again, initially it was a public-private, some government, some private sector. It'll be all private sector funds. So, I mean, so that's kind of where we're at. You know, from an RDA perspective, I can tell you from the industry sector, and there are more supporters of this road. They're just not vocally supportive of this road. You all at Spencer County allowed the RDA to be created. You know, the other three members are trying to figure out how to get there and how to get there without taking a lot of political backlash from that small but vocal group. You know, our read is the majority of the governmental members are, particularly at the executive level, are for this road. Even at the council level, I think they're for this road. But you know, there's the opposition has won some of those over to thinking that it's going to be a bad thing for Du Bois County. You know, I don't see how it can be anything but a good thing for Du Bois County. But you know, that's my personal perspective on it.
Anything you need to add on that, Josh, as far as accepting this, or what's your?
No. Obviously, it's a policy decision for you guys. I mean, legally, I've got no concerns. I will say, I think it says, now therefore be it ordained as a resolution. I would say probably resolved. Right. But, no, I think I don't have concerns.
I would like to let Ken Mulder, if he'd like to say a few things, and Sue Usman should like to say a few things, maybe share with you.
Yeah, just to be brief, I guess the ask here is just stay the course. We're almost there. And then probably more importantly than that is share your experiences, because we've already done it through Spencer County.
Yeah.
So you have experiences to share with Du Bois of the pains and the successes that we've experienced in Spencer County with it. And obviously you talk to and interact a lot with the Du Bois County Commissioners, Council, Town Council Presidents, those type people that you can share your experiences is probably more valuable than anything.
I don't think I have much at all to say other than thank you for the support that you've given, and having represented Spencer County as a state representative, appreciate your partnership to Du Bois County in this, because it really does take this level of support to get this project done, and it's a pleasure to support you.
All right.
So do we accept this?
I
would like to make a motion.
Josh, just a small, good
Oh.
clerical revision on.
You want to read?
This is a now therefore be it resolved rather than ordained.
Yeah.
No big deal.
As amended.
So I would like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2026 -01 with the amendment of, what were your words? To be ordained.
Be it resolved.
Be resolved, be it resolved. I would like to make a motion.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Question for you all in terms of communicating with the county council, is there something that we should be doing? I know you'll pass your resolution over to them, but what should we be doing relative to the council?
Josh, I can send you a proposed motion.
I think that from this board, we can
Okay.
ask that the auditor,
The attorney for the council.
Okay.
That'll-
Okay, would you touch,
Yeah.
okay.
so do we need to do anything different, Josh? Just present it at the next council?
Are you all going to present it? at the
Well,
next
yeah, I
council?
mean, I think,
I mean, I'll call several of them and tell them.
I guess we're looking right, as we have conversations with them, if they would like for us to come back and present to them, we can be very happy to do
I
that.
think,
I don't really.
Kenny, if you want,
Okay, okay, thank you, Judge.
the most important thing is having Mr. Moser there, call him and tell him.
The reason he's sitting here in the front row.
That's
Are
right.
you saying Mr. Schrader is good enough? Are you saying he's not good enough?
I say have
This
him
new
call.
chair, he is right.
All right, anything else on that? Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff, good to see you.
We too.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Our dental renewal.
Here is the HRI Paramount Dental Renewal. As you can see, everything, the plan stays the same, the rates stay the same. You already have a copy of it? Okay. Did you need a copy of it? Okay.
Oh, wait, I think I have it. Yeah.
Same one? Okay. So I just asked that, just to renew it for another year, with the rates being the same and the plan design staying the same. No changes at all.
All right, I'll ask for a motion to accept the rates for our dental review.
I'll make a motion that we accept the rates.
Renewal.
I'm sorry.
I said review.
I'm
Renewal.
sorry. I make a motion that we renew the HRI dental policy at the same rate for 1 year.
All right, we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to jump to our cyber policy renewal.
I put it in your packets. It's through Chris Middleton, and she sent it to us.
Basically, I'll just
It's the same.
ask for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion that we accept the cybersecurity policy.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Library event.
Library's kicking off their first event Tuesday, May 26th from 11 to 2. And they need to use the lawn. You already have the certificate of liability.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, City of Rockport for the water.
Yes, they sent something asking, they're wanting to do lead testing. And I just need your approval for the right of entry for them to do the testing on the courts.
All right, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request of the city of Rockport.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Credit card. Kenzie.
Me. So I applied to put in an application for a credit card for my office. I have a state called conference with State Board of Accounts and AIC coming up in April. I would like to request a county issued card for my lodging. We get a group rate through the AIC and the Reporters Conference that we have to do online. And last year I left this conference with charges on my credit card of over $900. I had to put my own card up. So I know some other department heads have already gone through the process and they've been approved to have one, so I'm just asking for that myself.
And she completed the application form online, she checked all the boxes, so I'll make the motion that we approve that.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
You good? All right, Frank? As far as your, basically, what we're voting on is what the,
Just taking our recommendations from the planning commission.
what the
to
planning commission said
say
to
it's
us
fine.
as far as,
We gave him a special accession permit because it's not zoned correctly, so we gave him that to be able to have that development there. The planning commission gave him their, stamp of approval, so to speak, to bring to you all. He has to do his drainage plan, erosion control plan, and we already know that. So, and he's already made all the arrangements with the talked to the school board, the Rockport Sewer, the Rio Water. I mean, he's been very organized and systematic with it.
So I would like to ask that from our planning administrator, that I'm sure that you have asked the developer to follow a checklist.
It was on a checklist, I told him what he needed to do. There's not a formal.
So I'm asking as a commissioner to the other commissioners as well, to help us to make these decisions going forward with developers, that we understand exactly what it is that we're approving in regards to Frank's development and the success of his project, because I'm sure that the others are in agreement that we want your project. I know that I do. I just think that it helps us to make a decision as a board if we have the checklist, so we know what we're, right now we're waiting on the review from our surveyor, which you presented to the drainage board. We're waiting on these approvals back to the planning commission board. That's
He
what
does not
the,
have to go back to the planning commission. That's done. He's done with us.
I'm asking of my commissioners board if we can have a checklist from our planning commission administrator to help us with this development and future developments.
I have no problem. I think that most developments, depending on what they are, will be slightly different, just because of the different things that are involved. Frank's is very simple. I can have you one emailed to you tomorrow. It's very simple.
I would like it to be presented at our March 20th meeting, which is on a Friday. And that way we can follow the commercial zoning requirements from the state. So we make sure as a county that we're helping Frank to be successful in his development. Is that something that is doable?
It's doable. I'm sure, since I said I can do it tomorrow, I can have it free the 20th. But I mean, it's nothing that difficult on Frank's. And he knows, but I will give you something to go by.
I guess, is this something that is an over request in regards to our board, or I'm asking your opinion as a legal counsel?
I think what I'm hearing is you want, what is the normal checklist for different developments, so that when people come to the commissioners for approval or updates, et cetera, you have a fuller picture of what all needs to be approved and presented for various stuff, I think, right? Okay. Yeah. And it sounds like you have that and you get it to us, so. If you want to present it at the next meeting, that's fine. It'd be helpful if you could email it out beforehand.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Is this a situation that we can, similar to what we did with the drainage board, of approval with pending review by the surveyor, approval pending item approval?
You can
right?
do that.
Those are the only things outstanding
And that's all we
between him and a building.
And that's what you all decided, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically we can approve it.
I don't want to put words in Jenner's mouth, but I think this is not really specific to this job. I think it's, hey, when a project comes in front of us, what are the various steps? I want to make sure I understand and that they're being checked off.
Or even something like in the future, like making a motion of pending drainage erosion, we could just look down and be like, pending
Right.
this, because you're collecting those anyways.
Yeah.
We can just tie it into
He
our
has to have
approval.
those things to you before you can get a building permit. So we have them, or we don't have them yet, obviously, but we will have them before he gets anything.
I just think that that would be helpful for us commissioners to know that for all the developments that are to come to this county, that you have a checklist to follow to help said developers like Frank to have his IDEM permits, his fire and safety requirements. He's shown to us at the drainage level that this development is less than an acre that he's working on now. Once he extends the project, what does that look like then? And that's all I'm asking from you as the administrator of these policies from the county and the state.
Do we, because you don't need the erosion until you get to the backside, right?
Right.
So you can't give them,
No, I'm gonna show
you
you.
give them the front with the drainage. Is it a situation where we do we do this in two parts, where we say the front part with the drainage, that way after you get the surveyor's report, you can go on that, or, I don't know how
I
it's
think
gonna
the
work.
drainage plan probably needs to be accepted, but as far as getting the stormwater erosion control on.
I just don't wanna- I don't wanna-
I don't think you'll need it, yet. You will have to have the drainage plan, have Tyler look at that, says that he should be able to start on the Ridgeway Drive side.
I don't wanna frame my motion in a way that restricts you. Like, I don't wanna say you have to have that before you start, because you don't need it till you get to the backside. So could I frame that in two parts? Approval on the, what's the? Ridgeway Road. I'll make a motion that we approve the special exception on the Ridgeway Drive pending the surveyor's review and approval of the drainage plan. And we can make a vote on that, and then I'll make a second
Okay,
motion. on the-
I'll ask for a second. I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
And then I will make a motion that we approve the Ridgeway South Drive, those commercial buildings, pending the drainage plan, or is your drainage plan, that's everything?
All right, so we have a second part. Do we have,
With the item.
with the item, do we have a second on that?
Well, I would like to ask, is the planning commission bringing that information so we are aware of what development is happening in these? You know, Frank, this isn't personal for your development. It is so we know as a county that these processes are being followed. And I guess that's what I'm asking from our planning administrator.
The processes are being followed. He will do it in his stages. We know what he's doing. I mean, I don't know, if you approve it, Louis Mack said the first half, the second, whatever, and I have the drainage plan, I have the stormwater thing, when he gets to the second, the back part with the road and the, storage units, then we should be fine.
I'm under the impression that everything in zoning and so forth has already been taken care of. The only thing I need to finalize on the back side is the completion of the store road.
Yeah, and that's what we're,
I don't think it has anything to do with you and your development. For me, it's so going forward, we continue to have a checklist so our board knows what to follow.
all right, we have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thanks, Frank.
I got a couple more things. On the proposed new road on the south side, we have been calling for CenterPoint and the utilities. In order to identify locations for utilities, we have to name that street. I temporarily just named it Ridgeway South. So eventually, and you can think about it or whatever you want, but the commissioners have to name that street or approve it.
Claiborne,
So I've been calling it Ridgeway South.
Okay.
Sounds good. Some other options.
Claiborne Drive, Jim Seiler Road.
Not hardly.
Boulevard, Claiborne Boulevard.
Claiborne Boulevard, that sounds pretty good. Claiborne Court, that'd be good.
Hey, no comments from the back row back there. Legal report.
I don't have any action items in terms of resolutions or ordinances for you guys. Certainly have had a lot of activity over the last couple of weeks in terms of just little stuff, but nothing major, no action items.
All right. Any old business?
I would like to add to the legal report, if I may. Can you bring a sample of a planned unit development ordinance that could be reviewed for these developments, since Frank's project isn't a subdivision? We went through that with our planning commission the other day, and we determined because you are not subdividing any property, it's not listed as a subdivision. But it does fall under the planned unit development with a commercial zoning. I think that would help us to review what these type of developments could be for our future of the county. And with that, I want to thank Frank for taking on this project.
All right.
It's been a long time.
Any other old business? New business?
Yeah, I want to make a motion that we send our opioid ordinance to the subcommittee to review whether, is it still applicable from a couple years ago? A suggestion of a time frame to collect applications, just to make sure that we're following that. So I'll make a motion that we send our opioid ordinance to the, what you guys, a task force, what do you guys call it?
For the advisory committee.
Opioid Advisory Committee, the subcommittee to review that ordinance and bring a suggested timeline for those applications in the district.
All right.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any other new business?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh.
Back row. The back row does not count.
We're still here.